Alex, a software engineer in Seattle, lived alone in a cozy apartment on Capitol Hill. One Friday night, after a late coding session, he made tea and settled on the couch to watch Netflix. Noticing an odd reflection in the window, he dismissed it as his imagination. Later, as he headed to bed, he heard faint scratching at his front door. Heart pounding, he cautiously approached the door and peered through the peephole. To his horror, a pair of unblinking eyes stared back at him, wide and eerily luminous in the dim light. Frozen with fear, Alex stumbled backward. The scratching stopped abruptly, followed by an unsettling silence. Gathering his courage, he flung the door open, but the hallway was empty. Shaken, he quickly shut and locked the door, double-checking all the windows before attempting to sleep. The next morning, a note reading, "I see you," was slipped under his door. Panic set in as he reported the incident to building security, who found no evidence of anyone lurking around. The sense of being watched persisted. Alex installed cameras and changed locks, but the unease grew. Reviewing the security footage, he noticed something disturbing. At exactly 3:00 a.m. each night, the cameras would glitch for a few seconds. When the feed returned, faint, ghostly footprints led away from his door. He watched in horror as this happened 3 nights in a row. Each night, the glitching was preceded by the same scratching sound, and the feeling of being watched intensified. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Alex decided to stay up one night and see for himself. At 2:50 a.m., he sat quietly in his living room, every muscle tensed. At exactly 3 a.m., the scratching began again, louder and more insistent. As he reached for the peephole, the scratching stopped, and a chilling voice whispered, "Alex, let me in." His phone rang, breaking the silence, displaying an unknown number. A distorted voice on the other end said, "You can't escape me, Alex. I see you, always." Trembling, he hung up, but the phone rang again and again. The same message, the same voice. Desperate for answers, Alex began researching similar incidents in Seattle. At the public library, he found old newspaper articles about mysterious disappearances and sightings in Capitol Hill. The stories were eerily similar to his own experiences. Reaching out to a local paranormal investigator named Sarah, she agreed to help and set up more sophisticated surveillance equipment in his apartment. The following nights were tense. Sarah stayed with Alex, monitoring the cameras. At exactly 3:00 a.m., the scratching began again. They watched in horror as the cameras glitched, revealing ghostly footprints and a shadowy figure standing just out of frame. Sarah suggested they conduct a seance to communicate with the entity. Despite his skepticism, Alex agreed, desperate for any solution. During the seance, the room grew cold and the candles flickered violently. Sarah explained the detailed rituals. They drew a protective circle with salt, placed candles at each point, and held hands around a small table. She chanted in a language Alex didn't understand, calling on the spirit to reveal itself. The air grew thick with tension as Sarah asked the spirit what it wanted. A deep, guttural voice replied, "Alex must pay for his sins." The seance ended abruptly as the table shook and the candles were extinguished. Terrified, Alex racked his brain for any past transgressions that could explain the haunting. He recalled a hit-and-run accident from his college days in California, a secret he had buried deep within. Could this be related? Deciding to confront his past, Alex drove to California to visit the site of the accident. He found a small roadside memorial he had never noticed before, with a picture of a young man named David staring back at him. Overwhelmed with guilt, Alex whispered an apology. Back in Seattle, The haunting seemed to cease. Relieved, Alex thought he had finally laid the spirit to rest. But one night, as he was getting ready for bed, he noticed something strange on his bathroom mirror. Written in the fog from his shower were the words, "I see you." His blood ran cold. The silent watcher had found him again. In a panic, he checked his phone, and there it was, a message from the same unknown number. "You can't escape. I'm always watching." Alex realized that no matter where he went, the silent watcher would follow. The terror was far from over.
Alex's story serves as a chilling reminder that some things, once awakened, cannot be escaped. Stay safe and always be aware of your surroundings, because you never know who or what might be watching.